Aloha and welcome to Exploring Aerial Yoga. My name is Patrick Faris and I am coming to you from my home studio today in Curtistown, Hawaii, where we are going to be revisiting Vrksasana or tree pose. And while we've done a video on this before with the aerial, this version is commonly known to aerialists as kite pose in the hammock. And it is a variation of tree pose that really focuses on something that tree pose offers us with our legs and our body's circulation in the femoral artery. When we actually put compression on the legs, and you probably hear this with like compression socks, or you've been to the mall in those fancy chairs where you pay a little bit too much to have the thighs compressed and decompressed, or maybe you've unfortunately been in the hospital. You've had those big balloons that they put on your legs that, again, they squeeze, they hold, and then they release. This kind of compression therapy can help with circulation in the body, though it can raise blood pressure, it can raise heart rate a little bit. Please do not use this as a replacement for any medical treatment. And if you have any medical concerns, please talk with your doctor or primary care provider about this, as this is going to be a binding form. So for safety, I do recommend having a spot if you are not familiar with this pose. And a crash pad can be nice because we are going to bind our legs in the fabric. So when it comes to the gracilis, that gristly, big, thick muscle on the inner thigh, or especially like the vastus, any of those thigh muscles, we're going to be binding entirely with the fabric. If you want the fabric a little lower, it is going to be a little harder to get in. I would recommend the fabric at hip height to start. So we're gonna push this down all the way, making sure that, maybe we can get on our tippy toes, but we're down in that hip area. We're gonna come around just for setup in this pose by putting the fabric on as a nice backpack, making sure that our hands are to our sides as we push back and we start to go back into the fabric here. We're gonna make sure that fabric is below our hips, of course, toe touching, so that we can just balance as we get off, grabbing the fabric. And from our start pose here, you're going to choose a leg to wrap around its pole, coming in, holding onto the other pole the entire time. From here, you can enter with some lovely open pigeon poses, just breathing wherever you are, maybe finding some nice, beautiful forms. But as we come up to that free fabric here, we're gonna pull the body up entirely. We're gonna reach into both fabrics here, and then we're gonna straighten the legs together. And that's gonna bring that fabric back down that's bound. And keep myself from spinning here just a little. Nice. So as we lean back again, we're gonna hold on to both poles. We're gonna wrap that same leg around. And now you can see it's really binding up into that leg. So as we reach back up for those poles, you'll notice that leg isn't gonna straighten. I'm now gonna have all this beautiful open space with that free fabric. From here, you can reach the same arm as your bound leg up to that open free pole, and you can bring the legs together and make a nice side plank. Beautiful form here. But going all the way up into this tree pose that we talked about, good upper body strength here, internal rotation of the wrist to really protect them. As we pull up, we're gonna straighten that leg, and you can feel that nice bind. That free pole that's got all the slack on it now. I'm gonna reach over to my bound leg pole, and all that open slack, I'm gonna be able to find one open fabric here, pulling the body up, coming back, finding that knee. And then as we lift the body up, you can see how we are now entering into that tree pose. So really taking that leg onto the inner form, but there's no pressure here from the foot to the thigh. All the pressure is from that binding. I do not recommend holding this pose longer than 30 seconds to maybe 2 minutes, because you could cut off circulation to the leg, which is not our goal here. Compression is our goal, but while we are in that time frame, you can also take that fabric from behind you, and then you can open up And you can see why people refer to this as kite pose. Nice open upper body form. Breathe. This takes your tree to a whole new level. Finding that beautiful breath here. And when you're ready, coming back down. Now, as we come down, coming out is just as important. You want to have control. Don't just fall out of this. We're going to lift the body up as we sit down into that fabric. Let that bound leg lift, and of course that fabric has been staying behind our thigh the entire time. Holding on to both poles as we lean back. That free leg is going to come up, and only when it engages with the pole can we release that hand. Gently coming down, 1, gently coming down, 2, and then of course finding the ground. And because there is so much blood flow, I do recommend ragdoll, head to heart. Breathe, especially if that heart rate has gotten up, blood pressure has gotten up. Find your breath, come back to homeostasis, and come back up. Repeating this on the other side is the exact same. For time's sake, we're just gonna do that side. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please like and subscribe. Mahalo, namaste.